In the warm-up to Sunday's victory over Bournemouth, Paul Pogba was spotted striking a pose that appeared very similar to the manner in which he would later celebrate a goal for Manchester United. This is Pogba at his most endearing and his most exasperating. Had United lost against Eddie Howe's team, many would have questioned the Frenchman and accused him of being distracted rather than focusing on the task at hand. This is Pogba in a nutshell: a maverick, an individual, a man who dyes his hair blue just as United travel to Manchester City, a man who unveils an emoji before a home game against Liverpool, and a man who spends time before a trip to Anfield dancing around on Instagram. How Pogba performed under Mourinho and now Solskjaer. Pogba PL 2018-19 Solskjaer Mourinho games played 314 minutes played 270 11-36 goals per game 1. .33 0.24 assists per game 1 0.24 shots per game 4.33 3.17 shots on target per game 3.1 66 chances created per game 2.67 1.43 passes per game 96.33 64.17 passing accuracy 86 282.8 tackles per game 1.11 interceptions 1.33 0.4 touches 113.67 86 59 as Pogba discovered, divergence from the norm only cuts it when you are winning. The idiosyncrasies that now bring a smile from Ole Gunnar Solskjaer were previously cause for concern as United toiled under Jose Mourinho. Pogba's extreme confidence was interpreted as a player with an ego problem. I am the new era. Freedom of personality is encouraged. Solskjaer believes his players are more likely to perform if they are permitted to be comfortable in their own skin, and he is being proven correct by Pogba. The Frenchman has scored 4 goals since Solskjaer arrived, and his all-round game has been elevated. His passing accuracy is up from 82% to 86% under the caretaker manager, and he's averaging over 30 more passes a game. He's also making an average of 1.33 interceptions per game, compared to 0.4 under Mourinho. At last, Pogba is taking a game and stamping his name all over it. Pogba has, for too long, been a player who decorates rather than defines games. He's been a scorer of great goals rather than a great goal scorer, a player suited to YouTube highlight reels rather than the consistency required to lead his team to trophies. Pogba, it should be said, has been far from perfect. There are times he has not helped his case, such as the occasion last year when United support staff needed to knock on his door to get Pogba out of bed. Pep Guardiola's revelation that Pogba's agent, Mino Raiola, offered the midfielder to Manchester City during last January's transfer window was particularly damaging. Yes, Raiola is a loose cannon, but he also reports to Pogba and the Frenchman would surely be able to tell his agent to stop being a nuisance if he so wished. Pogba's performances also deteriorated after his return from an injury last winter. He was particularly poor in games at Tottenham and Newcastle, and after Mourinho signed his new contract, he felt emboldened to challenge Pogba by dropping him to the substitutes bench for key Champions League games against Sevilla. This was the beginning of the end for Mourinho, whose tough love only served to anger the player rather than stir Pogba's professional pride. There is a slight misconception around the relationship between Mourinho and Pogba. While it did freeze over during the past year, their first 18 months together was actually positive. Mourinho admired Pogba's pace and power and harnessed the Frenchman's link-up play with Zlatan Ibrahimovic. Privately, he believed Pogba to be a world-class footballer who simply needed to find the required motivation and consistency, and nobody would argue with that assessment. Solskjaer, however, is making tweaks to Pogba's game. The Norwegian has asked him to stop the showboating, to devastate rather than elaborate. He knows that Pogba's height, physique and technique mean that, if he succeeds in doing the simple things well, very few will be able to stop the Frenchman. Mourinho wished Pogba would do the same, but it appears the midfielder required love rather than criticism. Now he is receiving affection. Pogba is proving himself a quick learner. As of 14-year-old at French club Torcy, Pogba's coach once asked him to do 50 keepy-up-pies with his right foot, left foot and his head by his coach. He failed the task, but within 2 days, had performed it in front of his entire team. Under Solskjaer, the progress has been similarly rapid.